Welcome to Pieguy Pick'em. It is week 8 of the NFL season. Going to be a quick show today. World Series Game 6 in Toronto tonight, and I will be watching and enjoying that game. No guest, no prop report. We're just going to go through the games game by game. Just a little quick around the league. The Jets finally won a game last week. Good for them. And going into the bye. This going into the bye trend has been quite good for point spreads as well as outright winners. We have, let me just see who's going to the bye this week. I have this written down. We have next week on by the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Titans. So keep that in mind as we go through the games this week. And we'll start with those Cincinnati Bengals who are taking on the Chicago Bears in the Queen City. The Bears, 2.5-point, 3-point road favorites, the total 50.5, 51. The Bengals defense, I mentioned it at the beginning of the year. I didn't think they were going to be as bad as they have been. They have been terrible, awful, dreadful the last few weeks. They gave up 39 points to Justin Fields and the Jets last week. The week before, who did they play? Let's see, Cincinnati schedule. The week before they gave up, oh my gosh. Come on, it's slow loading today. They gave up 31 to the Pittsburgh Steelers despite winning that game. We know Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin's horrible on Thursday night. 27 to the Packers. They gave up 37 to the Lions. They gave up 48 to the Vikings in week 3. It's been pretty bad outside of that first week 1 performance against the Browns, who don't really have an offense. This has been fluttering around 2.5, 3. Trey Hendrickson is doubtful, their best pass rusher. Logan Wilson, one of their key linebackers, is also doubtful. And those are probably the 2 best defenders on the team. The rest of the team is a mishmash unit and a couple of rookies who could have future potential later. Joe Flacco, the big question mark. If Joe Flacco plays, this is likely to come 2.5 or less. If it is Jake Browning, this could be bigger than 3. Jake Browning is the worst quarterback in the NFL statistically this season. He's been awful. I like the Chicago Bears team total over here. It is high. It's 27.5. I think 26.5, 27.5, around there. I think the Bears get 28 in this defense. I've been a believer in the Bears. They scored 20 points almost every game this season. The Chicago Bears. So I think they can score here. And there was a little bit of a quote where Ben Johnson said now he can call the offense he wants to call. This offense has been good. The run game's really been good the last few weeks for the Chicago Bears. And if Ben Johnson still got some tricks up his sleeve, and this Bengals defense is going to not be able to stop them the way we've seen what Ben Johnson did in Detroit. I think the Bengals played the Lions the last year, the year before. It was a destruction. The Lions destroyed them. Obviously, Caleb Williams is probably holding the Chicago Bears back a little bit at this point. I think if they had a better quarterback, this team could be really good right now because the defense is playing well despite missing Jalen Johnson. Tyreek Stevenson, he was banged up. It looks like he is going to play. So that's big. So they do have one of their starting cornerbacks. Both running backs, so DeAndre Swift and Roschon Johnson, are out. So those of you who have Kyle Monangai in fantasy, like myself, because my team is awful and I had to pick up somebody, all of a sudden you're looking at RB1 right now. So Kyle Monangai props could make my card as well because they're probably going to be cheap, despite him being the RB1, because he hasn't really done much. But at the same time, the Bengals defense is so bad, especially without Logan Wilson, that the Bears should be able to do whatever they want. Bears team total over. First play at Pieguys Pick'em week 8. Not too many plays this week. The card is a little light. As we move along to Atlanta, New England, there's a little bit of variance. This one, 4.5, find 5. You can find 5.5 throughout the market. You can also find 45 or 45.5 the total. A lot of games like this, I think, as the injury reports coming out now and books are adjusting as we speak. The Falcons, I thought we're going to blow the doors off the Dolphins. It didn't matter. Kirk Cousins was in because the Dolphins defense is just so bad. But Dolphins defense. The Dolphins defense played well last night. I talked about that the Thursday night game for a minute. The Dolphins offense was awful in that Ravens game. You can't score 6 points against that Ravens defense. Yeah, they got a few guys back, but they've given up points every single game. Drake London was the last minute injury, so that didn't help the Falcons. They didn't help the Falcons. And Darnell Mooney, he's been questionable all season. I don't know if he just isn't very good right now or if it's the injury, but they're behind Drake London. They're thin at wide receiver. Kyle Pitts was the pseudo wide receiver one last week. He was on the injury report as well this week, but he is good to play. Drake London is good to play. Michael Penix is good to play, so we don't have to worry about Statue Kirk back there. So there's this thing going around that Kirk Cousins wasn't really trying to win the game. He was just trying to make his stats look good so somebody would trade for him because he's clearly not going to be the quarterback one here. I don't know if that's going to happen. Michael Penix, we talked about this, stinks on the road right now, and he's coming off an injury, and he's got receiver. Yes, they're going to play, but they're a little bit banged up. The Patriots' defense is beatable. The linebacker coverage for the Patriots' defense has not been great, and you have Bijan, you have Kyle Pitts, you have Tyler Algiers. You can attack these linebackers through the air with your running backs, with your tight end. So it's interesting that I initially I'm like, we got to play New England here, right? But New England, I bet against them last week. I bet against them the week before. They just keep winning right now. Drake May is the best quarterback in the league at this moment. Like in terms of playing right now. Like obviously, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league on any given Sunday. But current form, Drake May is unreal right now. And his offensive line isn't that great. So that says a lot. And his weapons are, Stephon Diggs is pretty good, and the rest of them are, Pop Douglas, Keyshawn Boutte. The running backs, the running game isn't very good. Travion Henderson got a few carries last week, and I don't know why they're not giving him more carries because Ramondre Stevenson is a fumble waiting to happen. So, but at the same time, the Patriots are a better team. The Patriots are at home. Penix stinks on the road. So it's Patriots or pass. I might have a small play on New England, but the Falcons coming off a blowout loss to the Fins. They think there'd be some kind of response, some sort of urgency here. So, better off passing. I'm just going to pass this game. I do want to play New England, but it smells a little bit, and the money's coming in. Maybe if it gets a little bit shorter, if it gets to 4 or something, I'll probably have to play the Patriots at that number because I feel like they're going to win the game. But they probably win the game by 4-6, probably, in my prediction. All right, moving along to team who's not winning very many games, the Tennessee Titans, who are hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. The Titans are 9.5-point home dogs. The total 43.5, pretty much across the board. I think there's a couple 44s out there. The Chargers' offensive line is getting healthier. Joe Alt is back. That's good news. Mekhi Becton might play. He might not play. And even better news for the Chargers, Calvin Ridley is not playing. Jeffrey Simmons isn't playing. Arden Key isn't playing for the Titans. The Titans, not only are they the worst team in the league, but they're a banged-up squad. And I was looking at the Titans with the Chargers' offensive line woes. So they're getting guys back. So that kind of dried up pretty quickly in terms of my interest. But also, Jeffrey Simmons being out is going to be a problem. Xavier Woods is out safely. They're just banged up here. They can't move the football. It's going to be Kamara DK, who I'm probably going to start in fantasy because he's the only guy right now he's getting the ball on the Titans right now, DK. And I might play some DK receiving yards. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Kamara DK receiving yards and maybe the touchdown. Small props here on the Titans wide receiver one, pseudo wide receiver one, before the numbers get out of hand. He's pretty good. Chargers defense can be beat a little bit. And the Titans can move the ball a little bit, right? But other than that, I mean, the Chargers should beat them here. But I don't trust the Chargers to lay 9.5 with them. But maybe I should. Maybe I should just lay it. I mean, the Titans look like dead ducks right now. I know they got a new coach. I know they've played better over the last few weeks. Tajay Spears got involved in the offense. So now you have two running backs. Chigo Kwankwo is still there at tight end. But Jeffrey Simmons and Calvin Ridley, Xavier Woods, these guys, they can't afford to lose them because there's nobody. It's you're backfilling with replacement level or worse guys for the Tennessee Titans. So, and the Chargers are getting healthier. Maybe. I am gonna play it. Yeah, I'm gonna lay it 9.5 minus 9.5. LA Chargers. I think they win this game by 10 or more. And I will play the DK prop, sort of like a hedge. But I think he can get like 60, 70, 80 yards. And the Chargers can still win like 30 to 20 or, 25 to 14 or something like that. I think the Chargers are going to win this by 10 or 11 points. So Chargers minus 9.5, half unit play. And then DK receiving yards and maybe a sprinkle on the DK touchdown. All right, moving along to the Motor City. The Minnesota Vikings will be facing the Detroit Lions. Lions 8.5 point home favorites. The total 48.5. The Carson Wentz era in Minnesota is over. He is hurt. He's having surgery. He took a beating. Minnesota's offensive line is in shambles. They're down to their third string center. Christian Darrisaw is questionable. That is the big, and I mean massive, injury news. If he is in, this line might go down to 7. If he is out, this line probably might go up to 10. Because the rest of the offensive line is Mayfield. And that means Justin School will be starting. And Justin School needs to be schooled on how to play offensive line because he's been horrible. At the NFL level anyways. I'm sure he might be fine in some of these lower leagues. That being said, J.J. McCarthy will start for the Vikings. He's got great weapons, fantastic weapons. But it doesn't matter because he has no time. The game has not slowed down for J.J. McCarthy. Outside of that one fourth quarter against the Bears, the Lions should win by 10. It's just like the last game. One team's banged up, and it's the worst team. Now, Minnesota is getting healthier on defense. Andrew Van Ginkel might play in this game. That is the one concern here. Minnesota's defense could show up here, keep them in the game a little bit. I was looking a little bit at this under because I don't think Minnesota is going to get very many points. Their team total is only 19.5, and I could see them get to 20. So if it was a little bit higher, I'd play the Minnesota team total under, but I think it's a little bit too low. I think they could get to some, around the 20-point mark in this game. But Jared Goff beats the blitz. So, and that's Minnesota's strength on defense. It's the blitz. It's Brian Flores. This team's got so many guys who can get yards after catch, whether it be Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond, the Tesla, Sam Laporte, like weapons galore, good offensive line. Goff's going to have enough time to read the blitz and make the right screen pass or the right play to the guy who's open, the running back, the check down. The Lions should win this game. If McCarthy comes out here and plays great, so be it. I'm laying 8.5 here, 8.5 here with the Lions. I think they win by 10. That's like football this week doesn't look too great in terms of a good match. I think there's going to be some blowouts, and these last two games are probably two of them. All right. Speaking of blowouts, the Green Bay Packers are hosting the Carolina Panthers. The Packers, 12.5, 13-point favorites. The total here, 44.5. So the Carolina offensive line is the key injury in this one. A lot of key injuries in these early games. It will be Bryce Young. He will start. Dalton's questionable, so I don't know who the backup will be. Cade Mays, the center's out, and he's big. But Taylor Moton, the tackle, he's right or left. Chandler Zavala, the guard, and Damian Lewis are all questionable. Hey, Chandler Zavala is the second string guard. Obviously, Robert Hunt is still on IR. If those guys all play, though, Carolina could move the football a little bit. But if they don't, this looks like another beatdown. But the thing, Carolina can run the ball, And historically, you've been able to run on the Green Bay Packers. I know Micah Parsons isn't going to solve their run defense. He's there to get pressure, get the pass rush going. Is he okay against the run? Maybe. But, it's not exactly we got Micah Parsons to stop the run. That's not Micah Parsons' game. And Green Bay's got some injuries on the defensive side of the football. Lucas Van Ness, defensive end, he's out. Nick Neiman, the linebacker, he's out. Quay Walker is questionable. So there's some linebacker injuries on Green Bay. All of a sudden, Carolina, the injuries are falling in their favor. Damian Lewis plays, if Taylor Moton plays, if Chandler Zavala plays. All of a sudden, could have a run game here. We know Carolina needs to run the football to be competitive. So this is a pass for now. And obviously the Carolina offensive lineman could get hurt. I bet the over in the Carolina game last week, and Buffalo basically got there by themselves. The Packers aren't the kind of team that's going to get there by themselves. I know they've been more aggressive. I've taken the coward name off of them. They are not the kind of team who's going to get there by themselves. This is going to be Carolina is going to need to get 14 to 20 points here to catch this over. But it's very low for a Panthers game. 44 and a half. That is low for this because this defense is bad. And if these offensive linemen play and there's injuries for the Packers, I'm probably going to play this over. I might wait for the injuries because, even if this ticks up to 45, 46, we saw, if Carolina gets to 14, 17, the Packers can get to 30 here. The Packers' offense is healthy. Jordan Love was great last week in the second half, but he was great. The Packers' offense is starting to get going. The Panthers had a really, really bad offensive game. I think they can run here. I think they can run the football on the Packers. So I will play this over a little bit now. And with there's a 43 and a half at FanDuel right now, minus 115. That's what I'm seeing on this. So minus 115, 40. I under 44. I think Panthers total under 44. I think this is too low. So I will play over 43 and a half a little bit right now, and I'll wait for the injury news. And if they get the good injuries, even if it takes up a point or two, I'll probably play some more over. But I like over in this game. But Panthers over got there last week. I think we can get there again. All right, Colts, Steelers. Now, we should keep an eye that there is inclement weather a little bit this weekend. So actually, let's take a look before I. But I'm predicating this on the run game, so I'm not too concerned. Is there rain? Oh no, Sunday's gonna be fine. Sun and cloud, 10 degrees, perfect. Okay, over this game. All right, Colts, Steelers. Colts, 3.5 point road favorites. The total here is 50 and a half. The Indianapolis Colts, best team, or best record in football, number 1 seed in the AFC. Now they've already played the Titans twice, so they've got rid of their 2 free wins essentially in the AFC South. But this team is rolling right now. I think there are some concerns with this game though, coming off. The Steelers coming off that lackluster second half showing, the Colts, destroying the Titans. And I've seen Steelers-Colts games before where I bet the Colts at this kind of price range, 3 pick-em kind of price range. And the Steelers just get all the breaks. Ian's or magic happens at home. This is the McAfee Bowl, if you will. Pat McAfee being from Pittsburgh, playing for the Colts. But at the same time, the Steelers' defense it was horrible against the Packers in the second half. The Colts' offense right now can't be stopped. What's the Colts team total here? That's probably the bet. Now, I know Yinzer Magic tends to stymie these totals, but let me just see. What's this Colts team total? 26. Oh, it's 26 and a half. Juiced or 27. Maybe I'll just lay it. Colts minus 3. The Steelers. The Steelers should be able to score here too. 50 and a half. It's a Steelers game. I have premonitions of the Colts missing a field goal. There are 2 field goals in this game. Some weird fumble. TJ Watt recovers. This kind of feels like the game where the Yinzer Magic's coming out. I should bet the Colts, but something is telling me that this game is going to be weird and the Steelers are going to come away with the win. I don't know what it is, but something about the Colts going to Pittsburgh after Pittsburgh looks so bad on a primetime game. Everybody's betting the Colts. Money's pouring in on the Colts. This line, I think, opened 1.5, 2. I would have bet that. Now you got to win by 4. I don't know if the spread's going to come into play here. I think if you like Pittsburgh, probably play the money line because they might get trounced if it's close. Pittsburgh knows how to win close games. If it's not close, the Colts are going to run away with it. That being said, I still might have a bet on the Colts. I have this gut feeling. The gut feeling in their Magic's happening this week. So, like the Patriots game, like I wanted to bet the Patriots that game, but there's something fishy is afoot this week. So I think I'm going to keep the card a little bit light. So I'm going to pass. I could definitely see Yinzer Magic and Steelers win 21-20 or something dumb like that. Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like the Colts are going to miss like 2-3 field goals. It's going to be, like I said, a defensive fumble recovered by TJ Watt. And weird stuff's going to happen. So, pass. I'm off. I don't like that game to get the heebie-jeebies. I do like this game, though. Niners-Giants. Niners 2.5-point road favorites. The total here is 48.5. The Giants are better than the Niners, in my opinion. The wrong team is favored. Give me the Giants on the money line. Let me see what that number is. That number is. I got a notification right as I was looking at what that number is. It looks like plus 130-ish is the best number out there for the Giants. Plus 125. Yeah, plus 125, plus 130. Giants on the money line. Okay, Cam Scadabo's out, and he's a big presence there in the locker room. Obviously, there was a horrific injury he suffered last week against the Eagles, but at the same time, running backs on the field don't really matter in the NHL. Tyrone Tracy Jr. is fine, and the 49ers, guess what? Their injury report remains one of those massive scrolls that we talked about with Cowboy Keith last week. Jackson Dart is going to start here. Obviously, Neighbors is out for the season, but this offense has been working. And I don't know if you're going to need to score that much because with like Juwan Jennings, he's not his playmaking self. Ricky Pearsall out again. Brock Purdy, who knows if it's going to be him or Mac Jones. A hurt Purdy he's not hurt, but a little banged up Mac Jones, probably negligible in terms of the difference. Now, this Giants defense is a big concern because Cordell Flott is out, Art Green is. They have the cluster injuries at cornerback and safety. Javon Holland is questionable in this one, but the Niners don't have weapons. The Giants pass rush and their pressure has been great. It's the running game and the cornerbacks who have been horrible. But San Francisco doesn't have the playmakers to attack these cornerbacks. If they're not getting open and you're in a passing down situation, the Giants are going to eat Purdy or Jones, whoever's behind there. The Giants' defensive line. The Giants' offense should work. The San Francisco defense has been bad. Without Nick Bosa, they don't get any pass rush. What's the Giants' weakness? The Giants' weakness is their offensive line. It's Andrew Thomas and a bunch of guys who are okay. So if you're not getting pressure, Jackson Dart's going to be able to pick you apart here to Jalen Hyatt, to Darius Slayton, the check downs to the running back, not Cody Bellinger, Daniel Bellinger, Theo Johnson, the tight ends. I think the Giants should be able to move the football here on San Francisco. I think San Francisco, without their wide receivers, are going to struggle to move the football on the New York Giants. Giants should be able to sell out a little bit to the run here. If McCaffrey doesn't do it all, San Francisco is going to lose here, and their defense isn't good enough to keep them in it. They're going to have to play low and slow, run the ball, play keep away, because the Giants offense should be able to score here. So I like the New York Giants on the money line. Plus, I'm not going to 2.5. Dable is a guy he's going to play to win. So give me the money line. The one instance where you may want 2.5, that like Giants would go for 2 at the end of the game, but I don't think they will at home here. They're not big enough of underdogs where going to overtime is a massive disadvantage for them. So I would just take the money line here. I think the Giants win this game outright. The Niners are banged up. All right. Hold on. I didn't take away. That line is wrong there. I mean, it's not wrong. I just have too many lines. There we go. Texans, Broncos. Texans, 1.5, 2-point home favorites. Total 40 or 40.5 here. I've heard everybody all week, the Broncos. How can the Texans be favored in this spot? The Broncos look so good. The defensive line is outstanding. The Texans' offensive line sucks. Okay, the Texans' defensive line is good, but the Broncos' offensive line is good. How are the Texans favored? This is easy Denver. It's all I've heard all week. Denver beat Dallas. Dallas's defense was so bad. Guys were wide open by like 3-4 feet in that game. Troy Franklin was wide open like every play. They couldn't stop the run. This is a real defense. Okay, and Bo Nix, I still don't trust him. Carson Wentz, Jake Browning can beat this Dallas defense some days. It's bad. So I'm not sold that the Broncos are this great team. They're 6-2. Okay, who have the Broncos beat? Okay. They haven't played the Chiefs yet, right? They beat the Colts on. Oh no, sorry. Okay, so they lost to the Colts on the leverage penalty, but they beat the Cowboys and their horrible defense. They beat Vegas. What's the Broncos schedule? They beat the Jets in a game where they had to fight. Like that was like a tight, close game. They haven't played the Raiders yet. They beat the Giants in a game they were down 19-0 heading into the fourth quarter. Didn't deserve that win. They beat the Eagles in the game. The Eagles imploded. Again, they were losing going into the fourth quarter. Oh, they beat the Titans. Oh, boy. Then they beat Jake Browning, who's the worst quarterback in the NFL. They have beaten some bad teams. They played teams at the right time, except for the Giants. The Giants one was a little bit fluke. And, of course, they lost the Chargers and they lost the Colts. You could argue they should have beat the Colts, but at the same time, the Colts outplayed them a little bit in that game. And, yeah, the leverage penalty maybe was a little bit of, I'm over it. I lost that bet a while ago. We're positive on the year, so I'm not sold. This is just an easy Broncos win spot. But on the other hand, I don't want the Texans. I think, is Nico Collins out again? Let me just check that. I think he's back. I think I read he was back. And he is back. So Nico Collins is back. Actually, the Texans are fairly healthy. They have a couple of guys questionable. Dalton Schultz, a couple of defensive edges, but they're deep there. Meanwhile, the Broncos, Marvin Mims, he's concussed. Surtain is out. And safety PJ Locke and tight end Nate Adkins are out for the Broncos. So this is supposed to be two of the best defenses in the NFL. We have the Texans defensive line led by Will Anderson Jr., very good defensive line, very good defense overall. You have Stingley in the corner, Shez Al-Shair up the middle there. Lassiter, another very good defender. Lots of good defenders on this Texas defense. Very good defense, offense, and a little bit sus. But if you look at their games lately, the Texans have actually been going over the total the last few weeks. You take a look when they played Seattle, they lost 27-19. They played San Francisco, they win. They went under the total, but it was 26-51. It was 26-15. The total stayed under by half point. And then 44-10, they beat the tar out of that Ravens horrible defense when they were all injured. So last 3 weeks, the Texans have scored 19 points against a really good defense and 26 and 44 against bad defenses. You could argue the Broncos is a really good defense, but without Patrick Surtain, Nico Collins could cause some trouble here. That opens up areas for some of these other wide receivers who have stepped up the last few weeks. I actually like this over. I think this is a sneaky overstart. The Broncos have been moving the football. All right. Bo Nixon has been finding guys open. Their defense, yes, they've been getting the sacks, but when they don't get the sacks, they've been getting beat. Like they were beating the tar to Dallas last week, and the team total over for Dallas still cashed. They still got 24 points. They still cashed the team total over, which was the best bet, of course, on the show. And I was very fortunate to get that best bet. I understand that. But the Broncos, if they take a big lead here, I think Houston gets some garbage time points. But at the same time, I don't think I think Houston's going to be able to score a little bit here. And I think the Broncos are going to be able to score a little bit. And this total is 40. Like, I'm not asking for a lot. 23-20, 21-20, 23-19, 23-18. All winning totals here if you bet over 40. That was 23-17 be a push. So I think we can get some points in this game. We're not asking for a lot. 40 points. I think Collins can get some points. And another thing, I think it's going to be turnovers because you're talking about teams who like to sack their opponent. We saw Will Anderson score a touchdown was it the Seattle game? We saw last week the Broncos do a lot of sacks and get a lot of turnovers. So I think that there could be some and Bo Nix. It can be a turnover waiting to happen sometimes. If this guy's going to gunsling against this defense, I think we're going to see some turnovers or we're going to see some touchdowns if the Broncos receiver beat them. So I actually think we can get the 40. But I don't think it's that easy of a Denver spot. I think Houston can hang. I think this is going to be a tight game. I think Houston's defense will be able to force at least one turnover in this game to keep them in it, and they can win this game. They're favored for a reason. They have a better quarterback. They have the better wide receiver one. And their defensive line is on par. It's just the offensive line that's bad. That's the bad matchup. But if they can get the ball out quickly, if they can get a little bit of a run game going, they can neutralize that Denver pass rush. They've been able to – the offense has been working the last 3 weeks. Obviously, it's a better defense, but no Surtain. Collins is going to be trouble. Over 40 for me. A little bit of a contrarian play, but I saw this when I said the way these teams are playing, they're known for their defense, but the last few weeks, it's been points for these teams. They've been able to move the football, and I think it can continue. And we don't need too many points. 40 is a reasonable total. So you can go over 40 by accident. Punt return, somebody fumbles on a kickoff or a punt and short field. Doesn't take much. Safety, we can see a safety in this game. That's not the safety prop is usually a losing bet, but this is the kind of game I think you can see a safety. All right, Rams, Saints. Rams 14.5 point home favorites, the total 43.5, 44. Tyler Shook will start for the Saints, his NFL regular season debut. I don't think he's going to do very well. The Rams should be able to name their number here. The Rams have been on fire. Stafford, 5 touchdowns. The Rams are off the bye, I believe. Stafford had 5 touchdown passes in London against the Jaguars. The defense, we know, is very good with Jared Verse. And that pass rush, I don't really have much to say on this game. Yeah, they're off the bye. And then the London game where they destroyed the Jaguars. If the Rams show up, they blow the doors off this team. But it's the Saints. Like, are they really going to show up for this game? Is this really going to be some sort of, state-making? They play the 49ers next week. This kind of feels like get up. But at the same time, you can't take Tyler Shook in his first start. It's we say rookie quarterback first start, it's auto fade, but 14 and a half, I'm going to not auto fade it this time. And plus the Rams are playing the 49ers next week and they need that win next week. Next week is what they're going to be focused on. They could overlook the Saints here. They could come out a little bit flat. They're off the bye. I could see the Saints hanging around for a little bit, but the Rams are going to win. The question is, do they win by, 7-10 or do they win by, 20 or more? So I don't know. Easy pass. Jaguars, Raiders, Jaguars 2.5 point road favorites. The total around 44. You see if you get a 43.5 for a decent price. If you like the over, if you can get a 44.5 for a decent price, if you like the under, do so. One thing I want to talk about before we get into this game, bankroll management. I know there's a lot of sports bettors out there, especially in Ontario, where it's been newly legalized for a few years now. And I've seen these guys who are become addicted to these parlays and having action in every game, especially in the NFL season. Sundays it's fun. There's lots of games and have fun with it. But bankroll management, please do not bet more than you can afford. You want to make 20 bets? That's fine. Split up what you can bet, divided by 20 for the game, and try to stick to single bets. Okay, manage what you can lose. Please do not over bet and try to stick to single bets, especially if you're a new to the sports betting world. I always say single bets, it's 50-50 proposition. Yeah, there's juice and you could, you're paying 10% for the fun of it, but you'll lose a lot, 10% for entertainment value, in my opinion, even if you don't know, really what you're doing. But you want to, I'm watching this game, I'm stuck here, I'm going to put, $20 on X team. That's fine. You know what I mean? Have fun with it, but don't go crazy, please. And don't try not, if you have a problem, use the gambling resources, the gambling addiction resources, and please. I've heard people, recently, who have issues with this, or they know people. Sorry, I'm just gonna plug in my computer here. Who know people who have issues with this stuff. Please seek help if you're an addict, and manage yourself if you just want to have a little bit of fun. You don't need to put hundreds of thousands of dollars in every single game. Sometimes $5 is enough to get the dopamine hit and move on. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders. Jaguars minus 2.5. We talked about the total already. So the Jaguars defense, if you take away the plays where they get turnovers, the numbers aren't very good. However, you're facing Geno Smith here. Geno Smith has been a turnover machine. Now, Brock Bowers is back. He will play in this game, I believe. Last I checked, he will play in this game. That's a big, big deal for the Raiders offense. The Jaguars offense, I think, was starting to figure it out until that London game. Now, they hit the Rams. The Rams are a little bit of a truck right now, and the Jaguars couldn't step up. But this is a step down, and they're off that London. That was a pretty bad loss. This is a team they can beat, and that defense knows Geno Smith is going to throw them a couple balls here, and I think they will get the turnovers. I've seen lots of people on the Raiders. I understand it. Brock Bowers is a very good player. Both teams are off the bye, so it's not like a rest advantage for anybody. But the Jaguars could make the playoffs. They can make some noise this season. They have, I believe, they're 4-3 or 4-3 or 5-3 coming into this game, but they have a winning record. And this is a team where if you want a chance to, sneak into the wild card, get some reps with your younger receivers, get Trevor Lawrence back to the postseason. His confidence back. This is a game you got to win. 4-3, second in the South. And remember, they own the Colts. The Colts haven't won in Jacksonville in forever. We know this. So they're not out of the division race. I have obviously a future on the Jags to win the division, and they've been good. I've been enjoying their turnover. A little bit of luck, but they're playing for the turnovers, and that's fine. And the offense is coming around, and you can beat this Raiders defense. And I know people are on the Raiders. They're 2-5. They're not very good, and I don't think this is a good matchup for them. Josh Hines-Allen is probably one of the best players on the Jaguars, and that means he can stop the run a little bit. I've seen this Jaguars step up and stymie teams, especially on the D line, and I kind of feel like they can stop the run here a little bit, and they can force turnovers of Geno Smith, and they give short fields. And when Trevor Lawrence and company get short fields, they score touchdowns. Travis Hunter is starting to make big plays. Brian Thomas Jr. is starting to make bigger plays. The Jaguars' offense hasn't even been that great for the first 7 games. They have 4 wins. So, yeah, I think the money that's coming on the Raiders pushes to 2.5. Now I'm interested in Jacksonville here. I don't know. I might have stayed off, but the Raiders, in my opinion, are real bad. So I'm going to stick to my guns. Again, I'm going a little contrarian this week because I'm a little wary of this card, but I think this is a spot where there's not going to be too much joy. This is all pro action. It's all pro action on the Raiders. They got the 3. The 3s are gone. Now I'm going to buy back here a little bit on Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's a better team. I think Jacksonville can force turnovers, like I said, and I think the offense can get going against this Raiders defense. So Jags minus 2.5 for me. Not the biggest bet in the world, but I do like them. I think they're a better team than the Raiders, and this is a cheap price, and the Raiders don't really have a home field advantage. It's Las Vegas. All right. The game that everybody's actually going to be watching at 4 o'clock, Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills. Bills, 1.5 point, 2-point dogs at home. A total of 52.5. Have the Bills been a home dog? Oh, yeah, they were a home dog week 1 against Baltimore, and we saw what happened there. Okay, the Bills defense has been an issue. They are getting some people back this week, and they did sign Jordan Poyer to the former safety of theirs. And he's not great. He's getting up there in age, but they need some help, and he knows the system. He's been played in Buffalo, so he can basically come right in. Excuse me. Ed Oliver, I think, is done for the year, which sucks. Excuse me, if throat's getting a little dry. Matt Milano is going to play. Terrell Bernard is going to play. Joey Bosa is going to play. So the defense is getting some reinforcements. The Chiefs' offense is starting to come into rhythm, though. I mean, it's concerning with Rashee Rice back, what these guys have been able to do. But Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, he's out with a personal reason out of nowhere. And Isaiah Pacheco, their workhorse back, he is out as well. Kareem Hunt is great, but Kareem Hunt, you need the two of them. Kareem Hunt's a great change of pace back. But Pacheco is the guy who's like your scattable. He's going to run over people. When he's so hard to tackle. And not that I don't believe in Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt can come out here, have a 90-yard game, 15 carries, 90 yards. I could see that. But at the same time, he doesn't have the explosivity of Isaiah Pacheco. And he was on the injury report with an ankle injury. And he practiced fully all week, but something to be worried about as an older running back. The Bills are at home playing the Chiefs in a regular season game. I think I bet the Bills in this spot the last 3 years. They've cashed all 3 years. They've been favored in some. You can't have the Bills as a home underdog. I don't care how. And now, it is a bit different. Neither of these teams are in first place. Obviously, the Broncos are in first place in the AFC West, and the Patriots are in first place in the AFC East. However, the Bills are tied with them. But the Patriots have the tiebreaker with the head-to-head. The Patriots are not playing any, they're playing Atlanta this week. They could stumble a little bit, but they go back to their cake schedule after this week. So the Bills, they got to keep pace here. The Chiefs, they still get to play the Broncos twice. The Chargers are floundering a little bit. I think they're down to 4-3. They've struggled, so they've let the Chiefs back in there. The Chiefs can beat the Broncos after the bye twice. I like the Bills on the money line here. It's series history. The Bills win the regular season games consistently, and they hate the Chiefs. And at some point, it's like, well, does the regular season game matter? You win it every year, right? You win the regular season game, you lose the playoff game. Maybe there could be some thought, oh, maybe if we lose, but they got to win the division this year. Like, you got competition for the first time in a few years in the division in the New England Patriots. And they can beat the Chiefs. They know how to beat the Chiefs. And we're going to see Josh Allen be Josh Allen in this game. The Chiefs haven't really had an answer for him. Even in the playoffs, he's been great. I'm a little wary this time because the Chiefs are in better form, but it's Kansas City going to Buffalo. Buffalo consistently wins this in the regular season, so I will take the Bills on the money line here. The total, I could see an over. I am concerned about the Josh Simmons and Pacheco injury there. So I think I like the Bills better. I don't really want to get involved. It's a high total. 52.5 here. So I'll stay off it. Could land 51, 52, 28, 24, 27, 24. I could see that Buffalo winning 27, 24, 28, 24. So Bills money line for me. Series history bet. And Buffalo struggled a little bit this year, but it's not like the Chiefs have the Falcons pass rush. But Josh Allen should be fine here. All right. Seahawks, Commanders, Sunday Night Football. Commanders 3-point home dogs. The total in and around 48 here. Jane Daniels is back. He's playing. Terry McLaurin is out. He is not playing. The Seahawks have been excellent. They have the Mike McDonald defense, second year. He's getting things together. This defense is as good as I suspected it would be coming into the season. But Sam Darnold has been excellent. He is playing at Drake May levels right now. Drake May, the new creme de la creme of quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, Drake May levels. Sam Darnold has been fantastic. Jackson Smith and Jigba can't be stopped. Seattle defense only has to make 1-2 stops here because the Washington Commanders defense is horrible. Seattle should be able to do whatever they want on offense as long as Sam Darnold doesn't start seeing ghosts. I know it's a primetime game and he can have the hiccups in these games a little bit, but it's Seahawks all day for me. The Seahawks are the better team. Terry McLaurin being out makes it easier for the Seahawks defense to defend this. They know you got to take away the run. Washington's passing game it's there, but it's complementary. They like to run the football. They like to run with the quarterback and the running back. And that's where the success is, and mostly in the run game. The pass, obviously, genius because of football. The pass game's there, but he's not throwing for 300, 400 yards. Usually 250-ish for Jane Daniels. So, Seahawks take away the run. I think they can win this game, and they can win this game convincingly. I like the Seattle Seahawks -3. No opinion on the total because it could be a clampdown Seahawks, or it could be we're just going to outscore them Seahawks, but. Even if the defense is sketchy in this game, or even if the offense is sketchy in this game, the Seahawks could still win this game because they are the most complete team in the NFL. They have a good offense. They have a number one wide receiver. They got a good running game. The offensive line is playing good enough. Sam Darnold's playing great, and the defense but they have a defense at the same time with Witherspoon and the guys McDonald brought in at the back end. This is his defense now. And we saw the Ravens defense with him was excellent. And we're seeing that with the Seahawks. The NFC West really is the division of death right now. And it's Seattle here for me. Another road favorite. But I'm on a couple home dogs too. I'm only on, how many road favorites am I on? I'm on the Chargers, but they're playing the Titans. But I didn't bet the Bears spread because if Flacco plays, the Bengals could just shoot. I like the team total there, but yeah. I like the Seattle as a road chalk here. All right, Monday Night Football, final game, Cowboys, Cardinals, Cowboys, 2.5 3-point favorites, total 53.5 because Dallas has the top 5 offense and a bottom 5 defense. Maybe a bottom 1 defense. The Jets defense might be worse. The Bengals defense might be worse. Dallas team total over. I mean, I'm going to bet it again. It's 28.5, 27.5. Doesn't matter. Cardinals defense isn't good enough to stop this team. Cowboys know they have to score 30 points to win. They're favored. So, Dallas team total over for me. Full game over, I could see Marvin Harrison having a good game here. Is Kyler Murray back? I think Kyler Murray's back. They were on bye, I believe. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is back. He's on my fantasy team. Injury report. Or one of my fantasy teams. I believe Kyler Murray's playing. Yeah, he's limited. Okay. So, yeah. Brian Anger, the punter for Dallas. Didn't practice. He's an illness. Jack Sanborn. Ooh. Cowboys have injuries to guys make tackles on defense. Their offensive line is basically healthy again. So yeah, this is a team total over for Dallas. If Kyler Murray plays, I might play the full game over too. It's probably I don't know if it's a double up, but I'll have Dallas team total over, and I'll have the full game over in this game. I'm leaning more towards the team total because Murray, the Cardinals' offense is hit and miss sometimes, but this defense is so bad. I don't think the Cardinals can get to 24 here. Why not? Dallas can get to 30. The Cardinals, the Broncos stopped them. The Broncos have a decent defense. They still got to their team total, which was too low. We talked about this last week with Cowboy Keith. Cowboys team total over. Back to the well. And I'm going to play some of the full game over here. I do like this over. And I don't trust Dallas to win the game, though. Dallas score 30 and still lose by like 15. The defense is bad. You can't lay points with this team. You can bet Dallas is an underdog, in my opinion. Like you could bet the money line because they can just run up the score. Like they could take any team could lose any given week to the Cowboys. Any team can beat the Cowboys any given week because the offense is so good and the defense is so bad that if the opposing offense is just having a bad day, Dallas will run up the score on you, and you can't keep up. And if the opposing defense, but then if the opposing offense is having a good day, doesn't matter how many points Dallas scores, the other team can match. So the defense just needs to make one or two plays. So I like the team total for Dallas and the full game over. If Kyler Murray plays, I want nothing to do. If Jacoby Brissett plays, he can probably get to 24 too. Yeah, I'm going to play Dallas team total will be the primary bet, and then I'll have a little bit less on the full game over, 53.5 this game. And Dallas overs, just keep playing it. Playing it until it stops. They're a one-way train team for me. All right, thank you for watching. I know it's Halloween night. A lot of people are trick-or-treating. If you're watching on replay, I appreciate the Jays game is starting in 15 minutes. I got to go pick up food. Pieguy9871. Follow me on Instagram for updates on the show. We hope to have Johnny's prop report and potentially Cowboy Keith back next week. Next week's show, keep an eye on Instagram. It may be moved. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do 6 o'clock next week. I'm traveling again next week. But I can move the traveling, so there's no rush. All right, best bet. Let's go. I'm going to do a plus money best bet. I haven't done one of these in a while. But I like the Giants in this spot. So the loss of Scatabo is going to hurt in the long run in the locker room. But they just saw that Warrior have his ankle, disfigured. I think this is a rally the troops. They're going to rally around Cam Scatabo. They're going to have a great game here. And the Niners are banged up. They don't have the passing game to take advantage of this cluster injuries on corners. Because of their cluster injuries at receiver, they kind of canceled that out. And the San Francisco defense can't get any pass rush. Jackson Dart's going to have all day to pick apart this defense. Pieguy's best bet, the New York Giants on the money line. This team is good. This is a mediocre to good team. They can win these games against teams that are injured. This isn't the same team that's with Russell Wilson. Jackson Dart, I think they're going to play for Scatabo in this game. He's a warrior, and I think you're going to see some other G-men run through some people this week. So, and the San Francisco defense is ready to be run through the way they've been playing. Zero pass rush whatsoever. So, Giants, Pieguy's best bet. Thank you all for watching. Go Jays! World Series 2 tries, but let's finish it tonight. And let's get another placata. Oh yes, Johnny did have one prop bet: Vladimir Guerrero Jr. home run tonight. Or if it goes to Game 7, I'm sure he'll be on it again. So let's go Jays and let's go Giants, and we'll see you next week for another edition of Pie Guys Pick'em. Goodbye.